It's Friday morning. We open up the movie, scanning around the Joneses' household, seeing everybody sleeping, when Craig is woken up by some elderly Jehovah's Witnesses. He slams the door in the ladies' faces, and this is where his bad karma begins. Craig can't even help out with household chores, but is the first one up in the kitchen, making himself breakfast, pouring a bowl of cereal like a 12-year-old. His father has to get up and tell him to take the garbage can out front like Craig is a kid or something. Craig comes back in to see his mom cooking everything in the fridge for breakfast just for herself. Some real big back behavior. Poor Mr. Jones couldn't even get some pancakes. Smokey rolls up after finding out Craig lost his job so he could spend the day kicking it with his best friend. He heads out front of Craig's house where he bumps into Worm and is reminded not to play with his money. He is straight to the point with it. After linking with Craig for a second, they go to Smokey's house so Craig can watch him smoke. They end up having to go to the store for Smokey's mom, and Craig reminds Smokey that Worm don't play about his money, but Smokey doesn't care. They head back to Craig's house, since everyone is gone, to sit on the porch all day and smoke. Deebo, the neighborhood bully, comes along and has Smokey help him break into their neighbor Stanley's house. They find $200 and Deebo doesn't even split it with Smokey. Throughout the day, they basically just chill, but we see Craig really ain't good for nothing. He don't have any bread even though he just got paid. He must have spent it on that gun that he showed Smokey earlier. Big Worm comes back around in the ice cream truck and asks Smokey for the money. Smoke doesn't have it all, nor the green for Worm to sell. He had to be a struggle plug or something, because why you asking for it back to serve other people? Where your stash at? Anyway, Smoke blames the lack of green on Craig having a bad day. Even though this was a sleazeball move, we know he's a coward for letting Deebo talk him into breaking into Stanley's house and not splitting the profits with him, which would have solved the problem that was just created. He could have at least blamed it on Deebo, said he took the bread. Maybe it would have gave Worm another target. But he didn't, so now here we are. Him and Craig are on the hook now for $100. This is where they should have started putting their heads together and figured out ways to come up with the bread. Instead, they started smoking more. After selling a dub to Hector, the grand total needed is $80. Why did Craig ask people for $200 instead of $20 here, maybe $40 there? Instead, he was trying to make a come up. That little bit of greed is the reason why he never was able to come up with the rest of the money. Also, never tried to go to the pawn shop or sell anything else. They just sat there, upset. They spent the whole day arguing and wasting time. And now they are out of time. Big Worm sends his squad after Craig and Smokey, but they are unsuccessful in the hit. Craig and Smokey make it back to the street, and Craig gets into it with Deebo. After a fight, Deebo gets knocked out by a brick from Craig, which gives Smokey the opportunity to steal the $200 they had took from Stanley. He pays Big Worm back, and now our boys are safe and sound, at least until the next Friday. The biggest issue in this movie was the lack of effort to save their own lives. No creativity. Craig could have sold his gun and had all the money they needed. I know this wasn't all on Craig, but if your best friend is in need, you have to help. Smokey still had green at the end of the night, which means he had more to sell. Like, you don't have customers? Smokey had an opportunity to steal the money from Deebo when he was over at Felicia's house, but instead he spent the time rummaging around the room, playing around. He could have grabbed them pants, jumped out the window, took the money, and dipped off before anybody knew. He could have avoided getting shot at, and maybe even the fight at the end of the night, which he did not help with. The moral of the story is, if you don't have a customer base, don't take a front. Buy what you can afford. Also, don't spend your whole check on a gun. What if you want snacks and stuff? If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching my review. Love you.
Go hard or go home. Well, nigga, I'm homeless. Go hard or go home. Damn, my keys broke. Go hard or go home. Well, nigga, I'm my keys, bro.
Hey, come back.
Pizza.